Oh.
I was just standing here thinking how good the Lord has been to me. He opened doors that I could not see. Through many heartaches and times alone. Through all the times I thought I can't go on. He brought me. Jesus brought me. He brought me. And I want to tell you why. He loves me. He loves me. He loves me. Oh, every day. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, I know that He'll do it for you. It makes no difference what you've done, 'cause I know Jesus is the only one to save you. Save you. He will save you. He will save you. And I've got to tell you why. He loves me. I woke up today 'cause I know that He'll always every step I take, He's with me. I know that He loves me.
No matter who you love, or no matter what you are, know that God loves you.
I know that He loves me. Yeah. I know that He loves me. I know that He loves me. I know that He loves me. I know that He
And I want to say something real damn quick. Okay? The reason why I did what I did, as far as putting those comments on the song, is because those who really love them damn selves will be focused on the words that are being sung as opposed to the words that are on the damn screen. Because at the end of the day, those three individuals know that God loves them, baby. And they have been tested and tried, which is why God saw favor for them to receive a Grammy nomination. While there are some individuals who are legends and icons in the gospel industry, Kim Burrell, for example, who's struggling to get one. And wants that more so than any sort of Stellar Award or Dove Award could bring. So yes, because of what happened in the last live, I'm definitely about to turn up the motherfucking gas, because at the end of the day, the truth will always prevail. And the leprechaun known as BubzDaGawd is going to make sure of that, baby. Now let's get into the rest of the damn Live.
I took a hit for the team, took a bullet for the dream, that we would one day all be free, free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I'm still live through technology. After the sun, then comes the rain. And after the storm, the sun will start shining. Blood seas of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle. Just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, bones in the sand.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, y'all? I told y'all we gonna be back. Hope everybody doing well. I'm doing well. I'm about to transmute this shit for my good and the good of others. Okay? I don't know what the hell going on with OBS, but OBS is on that ish. And until I get that shit rectified, I don't think I might be going live. If anything, I'm gonna put my shit into edited content. And baby, if you think I quote unquote talk shit live, girl, imagine when I have the opportunity to sit down and really orchestrate and put my thoughts together and structure them, which I kind of did for this live, no shade, for purposes as far as replay value and watching and stuff like that. But we are back. What's going on? Who do we have in the building? We got Spicy. Yes, we is back. Okay, we gonna make this ish work. Do y'all hear me? Do you understand me? How do I sound? Do I sound okay? Does the background music sound like background, or do I sound like I'm background? Okay, in the words of Tashina Arnold, if I'm not mistaken, if that's her name, Tisha Campbell, when she was in My Wife and Kids. When you're in the back, or you're in the back of the line, you back up. When you're in the front of the line, you shut up. Okay, so do I sound okay? Let me know if the background music is too loud. Okay, Queen Spicy said the sound is good. Shout out to Queen Spicy. The universe is, thank you, Queen, for being here. Because you're helping to soothe me a little bit because I'm pissed off and irritated. But anyway, we are back. Not only we're back, we are visual. So, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? I had to use my webcam. So, it is what it is. We're going to have to make this shit work. But, yes, we are back. I'm glad to be back. Yeah, we're going to get off into this. Because I am more so worried about the message. That's the main thing for me right now, is the message. And baby, I have a hell of a message. Speaking of messages, girl. First of all, shout out to Cali Blaze, girl. This is their tarantula, okay, variant, baby, okay. This is called passion fruit. Okay, this is sativa. The THC is 46.91%, baby. We gonna be on it tonight. Okay, but thank y'all for coming through. Also, please make sure that y'all stay on the lookout for Blame It on the Dress, baby, which is coming out this motherfucking Friday. It's coming out Friday. It will be premiering on Conscious TV's platform. Right after that premiere, we're going to be doing a live. We're going to be inviting the creator of the book, again, the one and the only, the Black Anarchist podcast, excuse me, to come onto the platform to be able to interview him about his book, the purpose of it, what he thought of my interpretation, you know what I mean, and kind of get into the nooks and crannies and nuances. And for those of you who follow CTV, which if you don't follow him, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, figure it out. But yes, make sure y'all follow him. I know that on that platform is going to be a hell of a breakdown, so that is something that you definitely don't want to miss. And then there's going to be some more upcoming news about the project, because the project is going forward. you know. And I think especially when y'all see what I was able to do, no shade, girl, I was a one-man army, baby. This how great shit happened. That's how I know that the way that I'm working this out, when the time does come for me to be in a place where I'm able to connect with other people, compensate them, and manifest a dream on a bigger level, I'll know exactly what I want and how I want it done, because I'm doing it for myself now. So again, even though I'm going through this process that can be time consuming and irritating at times, baby, when the shit pop the fuck off though, that's the part, when the shit pop the fuck off though, that's when stuff is okay. I see I'm kind of glitching and shit on my stuff too on the screen, so y'all please forgive me if the screen glitching. Okay, but yes, make sure y'all check that out. I'm excited. Yes. But before we get into this live, y'all know we got to be smart. Hold on, gotta pull this up. Give me 1 second. Is this it? Yep. Boom. Okay. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism and some comment, news reporting, teaching and scholarship, bitch, education and research. Yes, fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, girl. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and BubzDaGawd does not claim any right over them. I'm just gonna use your shit as a springboard for greater conversations, girl, whether you agree with it or not. Bitch, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay, so let's get into the first part of this live. Let me pull this picture up. Bam. It's not the one I wanted. There we go. Here we go. There we go. First part of this live is going to deal with the whole Robin Westman situation that happened, which was horrible. The fact that children lost their lives is what is irritating. What is also irritating is that the same people who told the queer community or are teaching their children to be fearful of the queer community, girl, are not teaching their children about gun safety, are not being the actual leaders that they claim to be in reference to gun reform, and trying to figure out why there are so many weapons in the hands of people that can cause harm. And not only that, the fact that the community is failing these children, that even though these people expect queer people to just pass on quietly, take their lives quietly, no, because this is so fear-based and the universe trying to get your attention, bitch, it will cause a shock to the whole system. Not just for the homosexuals, girl, but for those who created them, which is y'all. Y'all created us. We can't do this and make kids, right? We can't do this and make kids, right? So y'all make the children for us. Y'all create us. No shade. So the right, far right, girl, the evangelical Christians on the right, girl, are literally trying to take this situation, and instead of focusing on mental health, instead of focusing on some of the social issues that connect and disrupt the lives of queer people, and as we're seeing, queer youth, instead of focusing on all the things that actually matter that the people want to address and talk about, they are so fixated on gender expression. As if though gender is what pulled the trigger. And bitch, if you want to play the gender that pulls the trigger, girl, let's use y'all logic. Y'all sitting here talking about Robin Westman and dead naming this person, calling them their biological sex, and using that to tell them that because you are born this way, you're supposed to be this way. Let's say that's what you're saying, girl. And again, this is just to use their own language against them. It was another white male that did that. Because one thing the far right is afraid to talk about is how many of these shooters were people who were white and cis. But now that this whole situation happened and it was a trans person, it just seemed as a very convenient, like, I guess just a broken clock is right twice a day type shit, to where it's like, yes, we can now drive this and stretch this shit over the whole entire trans community, try to connect it to the queer community, because at the end of the day, regardless of the LGBTQ, it's all gay, all this other type of stuff. to distract from the Epstein files that y'all got, which, if I'm not mistaken, the people who were the victims and were on that island is getting ready to speak tomorrow. And I hope and pray that they are safe. Because there are some people who are so desperate that they will do crazy shit. No shade. And we're seeing that across the board. This is a humanity thing. This is a human issue. And y'all don't want to deal with the human issue. You ain't got to deal with it, bitch. It will deal with you. Whether you want to or not, it will deal with you. We got Harold in the building. What's going on, bro? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to read the article again, because again, on BubzDaGawd, baby, that's why I know my shit going to be legendary, bitch. Let's do it again. Come on. Come on. That's okay, girl. If you work through this shit, you will make it. You will be able to become better. If not, move the fuck out the way so a bitch that want to learn come in. Thank you. And girl, I was trained by one of the best, bitch. I trained with a motherfucker girl that was like Pai Mei from Kill Bill 2, bitch. I'm surprised I still got my arm, girl. I'm already short as fuck. I can't be short and walking around with one arm. What the hell going on? Okay? But I'm going to read the news article and you can read along with me if you choose to, and I advise that you do. Because the Board of Education, girl, is fucked up now. So I think it's best we start reading. No shade, but anyway, let me go ahead and give the picture a full view as we read this news article, girl. I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to make some mistakes because I'm BubzDaGawd. I'm going to stutter and shit. That's my trademark. But it reads, what we know about the suspect in the Minneapolis. See how I felt the Minneapolis? I feel like Young Mellow, Indianapolis. What we know about the suspect in the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting. The suspect died of a self-inflicted unshot wound after opening fire through church windows towards children at Annunciation Catholic schools, authorities said. And I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of water real quick, girl, because I'm about to be talking for a minute, so give me a second. And no shade, for the 7 people that's in the building, there's only 2 people commenting. I want y'all to open y'all mouth and say shit. This is the time to talk. How dare y'all walk up in people's house and don't say hi? Don't make me turn into Auntie Nita in this bitch. Don't make me be like my white mama girl from Mad TV. Don't make me break my foot off in your ass. Say something. Hello, hi. How are you? No shade. I'm gonna have to turn up a little bit on this dark humor of BubzDaGawd too, girl. Because we about to go into a dark phase, bitch. So we might as well get used to it. But anyway, it continues. The suspect who opened fire Wednesday in Minneapolis at a Catholic school during Mass has been identified by authorities as a person in her early 20s who left behind online videos with disturbing content and writings that refer to suicide. They're going to say him and her in this. I'm just going to read it as it is because this is research purposes. The suspect was identified as Robin Westman, 23. The suspect died of a self-inflicted unshot wound after having fired a rifle through the side windows of Annunciation Catholic School's church, aiming at children sitting in the pews, authorities said. Two children, ages 8 and 10, were killed. 17 other children were injured by gunfire. Lord, I should be saying unfire. 14 children ages 6 to 15 and 3 adults in their 80s who were parishioners in the church, officials said at the news conference Wednesday afternoon. FBI Director Kash Patel said the shooter was a male born under a different first name. The suspect's parents has filed for a legal name change to Robin M. Westman in Dakota County in November of 2019. The application was granted in January of 2020 when Westman was 17 after a hearing. Okay. The filing granting the name change said it was in the best interest of the minor child because the minor child identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey warned against any hate being directed towards the trans community, which we're going to read further and see that it did everything but that, okay? That was their main thing. They found something that was able to, quote unquote, distract them, girl. It's like a little ass kid, girl. Got this blanket and about to say, I'm going to throw it up in the air twice. And on the third time, when I drop it, it's going to disappear, girl. And they do that shit. And when the third time goes up, girl, they run smack into the damn door. This is exactly what the fuck they're doing. But at the same time, just because I'm queer, I'm not going to give Robin an excuse either. Because wrong is fucking wrong. That's what objective means. That's what objective is. But again, the mayor, Jacob Frey, warned against any hate being directed toward the trans community by saying anyone, quote, using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity, he said at a Wednesday's news conference. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids. The suspect had no criminal history, officials said Wednesday, aside from a traffic ticket. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, said Thursday on MSNBC. O'Hara added that he does not have any information about any previous mental illness of the shooter, who he said was never confined for mental illness. Officials recovered a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol used by the suspect, which she legally purchased recently. Authorities believe Westman acted alone. Search warrants are being executed at the church and 3 nearby residences associated with her. Additional firearms are being recovered from those residences as we speak, O'Hara said. O'Hara also said that authorities were working to determine a motive and that police were aware of a manifesto the suspect had timed to be released on YouTube. And if you get the chance to read the manifesto, because I'm not going to read it here, but I suggest that you do, it's very, very sad. It is riddled with guilt, shame, and just being lost and being hurt. And even though this person had people around them as far as family who were loving and who were affirming, the community outside of that home, because they can't be in a home forever. They got to go out into the world and live and exist and connect and be, that world is becoming more hostile for them. So again, I would suggest that y'all go ahead and read it on your own time. I'm going to get to y'all comments in a minute. I can't see it, unfortunately, because I'm reading. But when I get done reading, I will be highlighting them. So if you've commented thus far, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate it. This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings. That content has since been taken down with the assistance of the FBI, and it now remains under active review by our investigators, O'Hara said. Westman wrote numerous things on the weapons and magazines featured in the video, including racial slurs, a call for the president's unaliving, anti-Semitic messages, and references to the Holocaust and the Catholic Church, according to an NBC News review. The YouTube channel also included a video of the suspect flipping through the pages of a journal. In excerpts from the journal, written using the Russian Cyrillic, I hope I said that right, Cyrillic, whatever, girl, Ricka, the Russian alphabet, girl, for English words. The suspect described her fascination with violence and obsession with mass shootings, particularly those who attacked schools. The suspect also discussed suicide, depression, her own racism, and the particulars of carrying out a mass shooting. NBC News had earlier confirmed with law enforcement officials briefed over the matter that the suspect left behind videos posted online with writings that refer to suicide, extremely violent thoughts and ideas, an apology to her family, and a handwritten sketch of the interior layout of a church. It is unclear whether that church was the one at Annunciation Catholic School. O'Hara said Thursday on NBC's Today Show that officers did not find additional firearms when they executed search warrants, but they recovered literally hundreds of pieces of evidence as they seek electronic search warrants for the shooters' devices. O'Hara also said the suspect's mother had previously worked for the church. The church celebrated Westman's mother's retirement on Facebook in August of 2021. The post, which was deleted Wednesday in the wake of the outing, did not specify what her role was, and it has this down at the end of the article, which I don't know. Some of y'all's president is dismantling this, but if it is still available, if you or someone you know is in crisis, please call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or chat live at 988lifeline.org. You can also visit speakingofsuicide.com/resources for additional support. And like I said in the last slide before it started fucking up, we also have to keep the lifeline of communication open for people. Once these lifelines are destroyed, which they are actively being targeted and attacked now, it's going to be up to us as a community to find ways to lend our ears to people who gonna need it. But we also gonna have to help them to realize certain aspects in their life that they know that are destroying them on the inside out of fear and ignorance. And we gonna have to find some way to love ourselves so that we can get to an overflow status and actually give to people who need it. Because when people don't get what they need, then horrible shit like this happens. And if a lot of you individuals are focusing on this shit simply because it's trans, how dare you? Because as we're going to see, as Conscious Lee shares, a shout out to Conscious Lee, y'all make sure y'all follow him and subscribe to him too. He brings forth some evidence, and again, he says, research over me search. So for the people who claim it to be on the right side of information, the right side of history, the right side of all this shit, I'm going to need for y'all to start proving that shit. And you first start doing that by learning how to do your research. Now, before we get into that, let me see some of y'all comments real quick. We got, I hope I don't mess your name up, but if I do, please forgive me. Dayline. I hope I said it right. Dayline, let's talk about it. What's going on? Hopefully you're still here. If not, I appreciate you coming through. Shout out to you. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get into do this. There we go. We're going to get into Conscious Lee, again, sharing his information and also his thoughts on the whole situation, because the right is trying to make this simply about gender and pronouns and the trans agenda attacking the schools. We got to protect the children from the drag queens and the trans, because they're the ones that are destroying our schools in very catastrophic ways. Meanwhile, ignoring all the times that cis white individuals, males to be exact, because if we're going to use your lingo, if we're going to use your way of thinking, which I will be doing again tonight, because again, I got to talk to certain people at their level and shit. No shade. That Robin right here also identifies under cis and white and male according to y'all standards. So again, who are the ones that are really ooting up the schools? It ain't the Negroes. And it's only a little speckle of the homosexuals, girl. But the ones that reign supreme in that Call of Duty real life shit is y'all. So let's take a listen to what Conscious Lee had to say. And again, Dayline, thank you so much, because I mess names up. I already stutter. I put words together. BubzDaGawd is unique. So I just want to make sure I got it right. I appreciate it. But let's continue with the video. Live, excuse me. Oh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Here we go.
Mass shooters since 2018 who was transgender has been 4 of them. Mass shooters since 2018 who were not transgender, 4,193. I hope this helped. I've caught all the ways y'all have sensationalized that recent mass shooting and making it a transgender thing with a data don't even recognize that. Facts over feelings. Majority of the U.S. shooters are cis men, not transgender or non-binary people. From a racial standpoint, majority of these individuals are white. And in this case right here is why intersectionality is so important. Pointing out that this person is trans does not negate their white nationalist sentiments. It's a friendly reminder. It's only been 4 transgender people that's done this since 2018, but over 4,000 since 2018. Journalism getting so watered down is that they feel like they got to compete with so many content creators, so they're purposely doing salacious and saying salacious things to try to get their stories clicks. How many times did you see the headline lead with the identity trans and talking about what happened? How many times? I've seen it a whole bunch of times. It's easier to talk shit about trans people and pathologize that identity around violence to kids than it is talking about the consistency of guns happening to them. And they'll ban them books trying to make sure they don't teach them about trans people. But if a trans person used the bullet, how come you don't treat it like you treat the trans book? Because you don't see it that way. You see it as a Second Amendment. We're going to make this look like this irrational trans person did this, even though 4,000 people that are cis, meaning they identify with the gender they was assigned at birth, they didn't did this shit. But you want to make it about being trans. I caught that shit.
And he not the only one that caught it, damn it. I caught it as well. And that's why I'm calling the ish out. And as we continue to call the ish out, let me go ahead and close out this segment, because again, I want people to do their own damn research. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take Conscious Lee word for it. Do your own research. But we see, especially those on the right, girl, that's why Trump loved y'all, and he said it and y'all verified it so much, girl, in a scary way. He said, I love the ignorant, girl. Yes, and the ignorant love him, girl. The ignorant love him. And look at where we at now because of ignorance. Motherfuckers want to be the leaders and shit. It's time for you to lead, and you got to go through fear, pimping. But see, because this is a very toxic system, because this is a white supremacist system, and it's so goddamn egoic and narcissistic, it will destroy itself and what it created before it apologizes, girl. As if, though, the universe ain't gonna find your ass somewhere in the cosmos. A lot of y'all don't believe in karma, girl, but karma believe in you, and it's believing in your ass right now, girl. Alexa, play Make Me a Believer. Please. Let me go ahead and change my music up real quick so we can get into the closing of this shit. Because no shade, like I said, I'm going down a more darker path in reference to my content and expression. Because what we're about to see is some dark shit, and we about to go through the dark night of the soul. So we gonna need some individuals who've been through the dark, some Harriet Tubman bitches in the spirit, girl, to be able to help individuals to get through this ish. And I'm learning how to do that on my own before shit hit the fan. No shade. Let's go ahead and change up the atmosphere real motherfucking quick. Baby. Y'all gonna hear me clicking and shit, because I have my thoughts compiled into a script. I'm using more of my creative energy to get my thoughts out. Now that we've seen the receipts, now that we read the headlines, and even looked at the numbers, right? Let's get real about what's actually going on in this itch, okay? Because the facts are on the table. Let's talk about the facts. Let's discuss the facts again. A church full of kids. 2 of those children out of that group, unfortunately, are no longer here. And I stress on the word unfortunately. 17 more wounded. Over 100 rounds fired by a former student with 3 legally purchased weapons. The FBI is calling it domestic terrorism. There's a farewell letter soaked in shame and hate. And yet, with all that, the far right doesn't want to talk about any of that shit. They don't want to deal with the guns. They don't want to deal with the ideology, or they don't want to deal with the planning. No, they want to talk about gender identity. Like I stated before, as if pronouns pulled the fucking trigger. As if eyeliner girl had the ability to load a magazine. let's take a few minutes to drag that lie into the fucking light and make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's, again, jury, explain in Cliff Note version what we just went through or read or experienced for this first segment. Robin Westman, 23, fired 116 rounds during mass at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. 2 children gone. 17 others injured, some critically. The weapons used was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, all legally purchased. The digital trail, scheduled hate post, and a farewell note. The FBI again is treating this as domestic terrorism and a potential hate crime against Catholic people. So when politicians or talking heads pretend that this was just all random, or for some motherfuckers saying it was blessed and ordained and helped them escape and dodge the real shit, no. This mass ooting that happened was planned. This mass ooting that happened was intentional. This mass ooting and the receipts to verify all of that are right there. But instead of focusing on weapons or prevention, the far right decides to zero in on gender. Because scapegoating is easier than dealing with accountability. See, this is the whole gag of the whole situation, right? Straight white men commit mass ootings weekly. Okay, this is, you can look it up. Do your research. And they get called what? Troubled loners. But let a queer or trans person commit one crime, and suddenly the whole Labiquita community is guilty simply by association. Let's be very clear. In the way that I see it, gender didn't buy those guns. Gender didn't load those magazines. Gender didn't write that post. And if we're going to play around again with y'all ideology as far as, well, they did because they were born male. Okay, then white cis male played that gender, baby. Because guess what? Hate did that. The weapons did that. And the silence did that. But Fox News and them, and Truth Social and them, and all those other individuals over there with that bland ass macaroni and cheese with blueberries and brown sugar girl and beanie weenies inside a potato salad girl want you to think mascara pulled the trigger, girl. Maybe it's Maybelline, or maybe it's a M14, bitch. See, and if pronouns were lethal, if pronouns had the power to destroy people and take their life like that, girl, Twitter would have been a battlefield years ago, bitch. Hoes would have been dropping dead on Twitter if that was the case. But see, this is how scapegoating works. And if you stay on the lookout for Blame It on the Dress Chapter 1, girl, the first chapter is about scapegoating. Yeah. This is how it works. They make queerness the villain so that they don't have to confront the real issue. The blood economy of guns and the culture of hate that feeds them. Meanwhile, y'all talking about the LGBT, girl, let's talk about some more letters, bitch. The NRA is still cashing big checks, Trump checks, and lawmakers screaming, protect the children, are the same ones, girl, blocking gun safety laws. There are more firearms in America than there are Americans, especially now they're getting rid of the quote-unquote illegal ones, and more bullets to unalive everybody in this bitch 2 to 3 times over. But they're quiet. So the question is, who are we protecting here exactly? Who? But since we on BubzDaGawd and I am a top, if we dig deeper, girl, Robin's letter tells us something chilling. And again, I want y'all to read it for yourselves. Don't take my word for it, please. They're dismantling the Department of Education. This is the time to manifest the hope and the dream of the slave. Our ancestors risked their lives to educate themselves about this system. Bitch, put in your due deals. But again, the letter tells us something chilling. It wasn't just hate. It was shame. It was depression. It was despair. It was a life lived in isolation. A life lived under othering. A life lived drowning in guilt. See, this is what happens when communities feed children shame, since we're talking about the children. Sometimes they unalive themselves quietly, which is what they would prefer. Let that Haggard, let that Hike, let that Haney girl, let that hit her girl, let them pass away in peace over there away from us. But as we can see, unfortunately, and that's just the law of polarity for your ass, which I'm learning and was reminded, girl, that it is a law that we still gonna have to respect in this bitch, whether we want to or not. Even though some of them take their own lives, other times that shame on the inside, it curdles. It ferments. It becomes stanky in this bitch. And when it finally erupts, it doesn't just destroy the one that's carrying it, right? It unfortunately destroys everyone in reach. Now, my commentary, and again, I want y'all to understand, because some people might take my shit out of context, bitch, and let me say it out the leprechaun's mouth. From my words, this does not excuse Robin. I am not excluding or excusing Robin. Just because I am the G in the LGBTQIA plus whatever does not mean that just because you are part of the community, girl, you can do what the hell you want and I'm just going to support you because you're trans or you're queer. No, right is right and wrong is wrong, because at the end of the day, I care about humanity. So again, I'm not excusing Robin. What Robin did was wrong. And had he survived, he should have stood trial. But let's not lie to ourselves. When you cultivate hate, when you let apathy fester, because as they're saying now, girl, empathy is of the devil. It always finds a way to boomerang back. And y'all gonna have to realize that, baby. Sometimes it's gonna come back as silence where you thought you got away, girl. But sometimes that dog having its day, or at the end of the day, and the day is gonna have to end, bitch. Sometimes it comes back as blood. No shade. And that's the real reality. Which is why I do what I can and do what I do and aspire to do more to be able to help change that narrative as opposed to contribute to that narrative out of fear and ignorance. And the gag is, which is funny to me, a lot of y'all be acting like this scapegoating shit is new. Please, please. The far right has been bleaching the truth for years, girl. These hoes make Clorox look like some dollar store shit, bitch. They don't want to talk about guns or corruption, so they throw queerness on the screen instead. Just like they don't want to admit slavery was a blood-soaked torture fest, so they do what? Rewrite textbooks to say it. Taught skills, girl. Whitewash museums that told the truth, girl. Put down PBS and try to put up PragerU, girl. Telling kids and having Christopher Columbus talk about trying to justify slavery, even though these motherfuckers using slave money, girl, old money, girl, that they stole, girl, after the Civil War, girl, when the blacks fought and saved the shit. We've been saving this damn country, girl. Now they want to be able to use that same money to promote their shit, their bitches too, and their shit to somebody agendas, and trying to quote unquote protect their investment for their community as opposed just doing the right fucking thing. And we've seen other groups of people get reparations and remunerations, if I'm not mistaken, if that's how you say it. But meanwhile, when it comes down to Negroes, it's too much. But when y'all was whooping our ass and fucking us up, girl, it was never too much, never too much, it was never too much. Next thing you know, y'all, get back to it. Next thing you know, they'll be saying that lynching was a neighborhood theater. And no shade it was. They're going back to the old days, girl. Have you not seen the pictures, girl? Of a Negro hanging from a tree, bitch, while motherfuckers down there eating apple pie and shit, and damn chicken sandwiches and shit, and turkey sandwiches and shit, and grits and shit, and porridge and shit, or whatever the hell they was eating back then and shit with the shit. All that. And they want to erase it so that they can eventually do it again, girl. That's the funny part. They're trying to erase the history, but then replace the present moment with the history that they're trying to erase. You see how dumb and stupid that is? Again, when you realize the shit, you realize that it's the same fucking pattern. Do your research. Erasing queerness from the present. Erase slavery from the past. Erase accountability from the headlines. Now, when Trump's trial heats up, when Epstein files surface, which again, girl, the victims who are becoming victors, girl, are going to speak their truth tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be a prominent issue, but I'm going to be listening. When all that shit happens, girl, guess what? They're going to suddenly find, Fox and them going to try to suddenly find, girl, a drag queen or some homosexual to blame, bitch. It's not coincidence. It's distraction by design. And since everybody loves to scream, protect the children, let's take a moment, please, to really talk about what that really means. Protect them from bullets or protect them from books? Which one, bitch? Protect them from violence or from visibility? Which one, bitch? Because if your idea of protection is keeping children away from queerness, all you're doing is raising children who inherit your fear. And as we can see, fear doesn't protect children. Not that fear. That fear that y'all teach them. We're not talking about healthy fear as far as don't touch fire, hot, or touch fire, ow, 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 hot. Objective. We're talking about this subjective, fear-based, Christian, weaponized ass shit that y'all do in reference to queer people, girl. That type of fear, it warps them. That type of fear, it teaches them to bully. It teaches them to silence other people. It teaches them to see difference as danger. That fear grows into adults who can't see humanity in others, which is why they feed that same fear shit to their child. And sometimes those same children that they're teaching that shit to can also break the generational curse, girl, by exploding in ways that harm everyone. And then there's apathy, the cousin of hate, girl. Parents who look away, schools that dismiss bully, churches that stay silent. That silence is gasoline, and eventually someone lights the match. I need y'all to understand, girl, that just like y'all want to choose apathy, girl, there's also going to be a cost when it comes to apathy. Not just queer lives erased in silence, but entire communities burned when the silence finally comes back to scream like Sindel in this bitch. So, in closing, what do we do with all this? We've seen the receipts, and again, I want you to look for more of the receipts on your own. And we know the facts from which I've shown you. Again, don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself. The real question is, are we going to keep scapegoating pronouns while bullets keep flying? Or are we going to face the truth? And the truth is, from my perspective, hate left unchecked, doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just go away. That motherfucker comes home, girl. And it always comes for the children first, as we're seeing. Protecting children doesn't mean raising them in fear. It means raising them in truth, raising them in empathy, and raising them in acceptance. Because a child who learns compassion doesn't just save queer lives. They save everyone's. No shade. All right, y'all. Let me cut this down, son. So that was the first segment, right, of HOMONewzZz. That was the first segment for it. So what do y'all think about it? How do y'all feel about the situation? Any thoughts, critiques, concerns about what I said? Because again, I don't know everything, but I'm going to get up here and show what I do know. No shade. So what do y'all think? What do y'all believe? How do y'all feel about the Robin Westman situation? How do you feel about school outings? Are there any parents out there who are afraid of their children being in schools? Because as you can see, this was at a Catholic school. And I don't know if that school is a private school, girl. But again, this hate is in a lot of different places. And if we do not address it, girl, it will come back to harm all of us, just like it's doing right now. No shade. No shade. But yeah, share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you think. This person is a deranged lunatic that should have been in an insane asylum. Nobody cares about the gays being gay, and I'm perfectly fine with them owning guns. It's up to the gay community to support them, not us. The Uish operated the slave trade, not white people. I wish you all knew better. Well, when we talk about the concept of America and the history of America, because again, this is washing history, they came through and created this precedence. They created this atmosphere that we all play into when it comes down to race. So here in America, that's what we mean about white people. Because again, the color of your skin unfortunately does matter here. Because if that wasn't the case, we would not be dealing with what we're dealing with right now. People will be able to own up to what they're saying. So I appreciate your thoughts. Again, I don't know everything, and you can still sit here and share your thoughts. And no shade, when you talked about this individual being a deranged lunatic who should have been inside of a insane asylum, there was no history of them having any sort of mental illness. And I hope you do comment, because if you don't, I'm just going to assume you're a bot. And I'm going to say thank you, AI, for being able to help me to help iron sharpen iron. I appreciate that, because all shit worked for my good. No shade. But now we're going to move on to the second part of the segment, which is... Girl, let me do it like this. On the screen here is two groups that are queer individuals in the gospel Christian arena. The first one is called the Harlem. Pull up again. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta pull it up. It's called the, Harlem Gospel Travelers, and the other is called Lavender Light Gospel Choir. So what I'm going to do is like read a little bit of what I have here to kind of just introduce who they are before we continue further. Hold on, let me change my chat filter. That's probably why I ain't see it pop up in my stuff. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to talk about them really quickly and the spark that they have, because again, the gays can't have shit, girl. They can come in the church, girl, help stir up the gift of the atmosphere, girl, for the prophets and the preachers and the pastors and the reverends and the pimps and them to get their money and their cash that they need to live their lavish lifestyle in heaven on earth, while you still waiting for God to send you yours, girl. And they're going to use your coin to be able to live that. But now there are people who have walked out of the church, who have been ostracized, demonized, and cast into exile, and said, instead of dying, instead of just letting the world swallow me up like y'all claim it is, I'm going to still believe in my Lord and Savior that loves me, that connects with me. And I don't need your affirmation, because now the fact that I'm able to make it on my own and do what I do on my own does not mean that I need you anymore. Now there's a problem and an issue with them having ownership. That's why, again, when you look at the intersections between these two things, it's the same thing energetically. There are people who are daring to exist even though the world tells them not to exist, and they cannot justify the harm of their existence. They have to create shit. These individuals are practicing their God-given right in this country, girl, in reference to the freedom of religion and belief. They don't go into your churches and worship because you feel like they're not able to worship. So with that being said, they get the hell up and create their own spaces. But what you're not going to do is to come over to their spaces and still tell them what's on your mind when they got the fuck up out your church, because now you stepping in my church and what's going on? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I will grab my shit, but I don't want to, because you know what I mean, girl. Out of the respect for the commentary, girl. But at this point, with what God gave me, girl, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read who they are. As you can see here on the screen, in the background, I'm going to start with them first. This is the Harlem Gospel Travelers. I played their song from their one of their albums called God's Love, which was a beautiful song. I really enjoyed it. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about who they are and stuff like that. So they are a dynamic gospel trio. I'm going to mess this name up and forgive me. Ifedayo Gatlin, who is non-binary. George Mirage and Dennis Bailey, openly queer black artist, redefining gospel boundaries. Their historical significance is that they are among the first openly queer gospel artists nominated for a Grammy. Okay. Kim Burrell could never. 2025 for the Best Roots Gospel Album with Rhapsody. They are a beacon of visibility. Their musical style is a fuse of gospel harmony with soul, funk, and 60s to 70s musical influences. Their work is both reverent, girl, and disruptive. Now, black Baptist churches and gospel radio stations, okay, have historically marginalized them. HDT for short, mostly performs at secular venues and festivals due to homophobia in traditional church spaces. And I'm so glad that's the case, because it says to go out in the highways and byways. And these same hoes are afraid to go into these secular venues and minister the word of love and connection to them, girl, because if they were to do that, they'd be afraid of niggas and hoes calling them out about all the freak shit they do on Saturday night, girl. But shout out to HDT, girl, going into those spaces and still going after the sheep that Jesus would have gone after, girl. Even if it's just one sheep, it's still a sheep. And the reason why this all matters is because they're not just singing gospel. They're rewriting what gospel can include, okay? Challenging churches to face queerness with love and not condemnation. Now, as you can see down below, underneath HGT, girl, I'm thinking about tanking them. HGT is the creators, if I'm not mistaken, of Lavender Gospel Choir, or I know the male, I know that he is one of the creators. I don't know about the individual sitting next to them. But here's their origins and their missions real quick. They were founded in 1985 in New York City by two black gay men pushed out of their churches. They are the first lesbian and gay gospel choir mixing ethnic and spiritual backgrounds. Now in its fourth decade, okay, we're talking about 40 years, girl. $40. They performed at venues like Madison Square Garden, City Hall, and the United Nations. They exist as both art and sacred space. They are currently under artistic direction by Eric Williamson, who I believe is the individual, the male, down below, uplifting black and brown queer lives through sacred music. The community impact is great. Lavender Light provides spiritual solace and representation for the LGBTQIA people ostracized by traditional religious institutions. And I'm going to tell you again why they matter. Okay? They are living protest. Both groups embody gospel music incarnate. Faith and queerness coexisting and elevating each other. Resistance via authenticity. See, they defy the homophobia baked into the church by practicing their faith openly and beautifully. And beyond performance, they build safe ancestral church spaces where queer people worship unmasked, able to finally worship in spirit and truth instead of being in some of y'all hoes churches, girl, worshiping in spirit and deception with the rest of the fake bitches. And the crazy part is, as we're going to see going further, queerphobic Christians attack these choirs, but their very existence dismantle sacred hypocrisy. And what I hope to highlight tonight is how these artists threaten the foundations of exclusion in religious spaces by stepping in with joy, truth, and unapologetic presence. They aren't just choirs. They ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, girl, but no shade. They are spiritual insurgents in choir robes, singing that the gospel is God is love, not a God of fear. Let's take a moment real quick to listen to what they have to say, just in this little small YouTube clip. You can go ahead and watch this if you want to on your own and check out their YouTube channel. The link for the video I'm about to share is in the description box below. Let's get it.
My name is Eric Williamson, and I am the artistic director of Lavender Light, the black and people of all colors, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex gospel choir. If you are tired of the racism, if you are tired of the discrimination, if you are tired of the exploitation, if you are tired of the homophobia, if you are tired of the transphobia, if you are tired of the anti-blackness, we're gonna stand!
So yes, he's gonna stand, girl. Stand after you've done all you can. He is standing. So again, these individuals have created a space for themselves. They have honored the wishes of the church through tears, through heartbreak, through guilt and shame. They still chose to honor those who oppressed them by telling them to get the hell out, even though that was God working in mysterious ways to get your ass out of a toxic situation so you can finally hear its voice, which is inside of you. But now, because you've dealt with so many years of beating yourself up and punching yourself down and suppressing that voice, now you got to walk by faith. And there are some people who have walked by faith, who has survived exile and is offering solace and true, genuine healing for their mind, body, spirit, and soul. And instead of Christian people saying, I thank God, source, universe, consciousness for these people because they're able to reach other people that I cannot, and out of my fear, I will not. Instead of somebody else going after that one damn sheep, girl, you sit up here and demonize the people who are honoring what you want them to do in your shit, and they create their own shit. And it's still a problem and an issue because it's the fact that queerness, how dare queerness decides to defy this and stand strong. That's pride. That's pride. That's pride. Y'all not ready for the pride conversation. Y'all can't even handle the pride community. So we know you're not ready for the pride communication. But let's take a listen, because we're going to listen to two videos. We're going to have this individual here, girl, by the name of TheRealCoachJosiah, as well as Marcus Rogers, who, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you've seen me give commentary on his commentary before. We're back again. Okay, so, and we got Kenneth Tooks in the building. What's going on, Kenneth Tooks? What's going on? What's going on? Glad to have you here. Please share your thoughts and your perspectives with me so I can understand where everybody at. What we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to this individual here. And yeah, let me shut the hell up. And let's continue with the commentary.
Prioritize our humanity first. We're not all Christians. We're not a church. So everyone has their own different faiths that they bring to the space in addition to their gender identities, their gender expressions, their sexual orientation. And that's what makes it beautiful. You can believe what you want to believe and share the rich legacy that is Black gospel music.
Let me selfishly say that the God I serve is a God of love and acceptance.
Come on now.
All right.
Yeah, but do you serve the God of the Bible? That's the question. And my thoughts are, you don't serve him. My inclination tells me that you serve the God of pride and compromise. You serve the God of self-centeredness and wickedness. And if you didn't know, this dude right here, this gay dude down at the bottom, he is running a choir, a gay choir called Lavender Light Gospel Choir. Now, if you were called Lavender Light Choir, Lavender Light Jazz Choir, Lavender Light Classical Choir, Lavender Light anything else choir, I wouldn't have a problem with this. We wouldn't be having this discussion right now. But the moment that you say Lavender Light Gospel Choir, gospel implies Jesus Christ. And when you start putting Jesus's name on your wicked stuff, I got an issue with it. See, this is what happens when we start to compromise the name of Jesus and allow Jesus to be a nice thing to have rather than a necessity to live our lives. One who is to be revered and feared, and one who is to be followed fully and completely. So don't go around saying that I serve the God of love and acceptance, because nah. You need to be serving the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, Adonai, Elohim, the great I am, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the author and perfecter of our faith. Because if you ain't serving him, you serving the devil.
Girl, I had to bite my tongue, girl. No shade. Because, again, my intrusive thoughts were coming in. And this is the realm we in, girl. I'm not going to say much because, again, we're going to get through this video. And then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts at the end. Because I like to just live. It's an hour and 10 minutes. I kind of want to keep it short this week. No shade. Josiah, sir, you have every right to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. It's your right. It's your mind. It's your prerogative. It's your thing. You can do what the hell you want to do. But what you don't get to do is decide what the hell I do with my thing and my life and my experience, especially when you cannot objectively prove that I am harming myself and others. And we're talking about objectively, which means that no matter what a person believes, girl, if they believe in humanity, girl, they'll be able to see the gray area in the midst of that. And yes, you can serve the God of Elohim and all Abraham and all that type of stuff. That's perfectly fine. But do you also understand that in that same book, if we're looking through it through your lens of sin, then I need for you to serve the God of dole salad. I need for you to serve the God of spinach, the God of corn, the God of bell peppers, the God of cucumbers, the God of fresh vegetables, girl. Not the processed canned food God. Not the hog mog and chitlin eating God. And what's crazy to me, it's a bunch of individuals who are anti-queer, girl, but pro-food in this mug. This is very interesting. Pro-gluttony. Pro-Kirby and swallowing up everything, girl. You can call this bitch greed. From Full Metal Alchemist, girl, just open up its stomach and just an endless, vast, cavernous black hole, girl. The only thing that rivals that endless black hole, girl, is William McRae's hole. Girl. And I had to get that out, girl, because I'm human. And I can admit it. And like I said, girl, I'm with the Laughapalooza shit. I'm with the comic view shit. I'm with the roasting shit, girl. Because I also have a dark sense of humor. And some of this shit we're going to have to laugh and get through. All I'm going to say is, bitch, if you got something to say to me or try to read me, girl, at least be funny. Be a formidable opponent. Or better yet, be a formidable sparring partner. Because I rather prefer sparring partners than enemies. But if it's an enemy, girl, it's going to be what it's going to be. But let's take a listen as Marcus Rogers continues to give his perspective about it as well. So the real Josiah ended up giving us his perspective on the Lavender Light Choir, the choir that was created because two individuals who were homosexuals decided to not go out into the world and die and submit to the fear and the ignorance and the guilt and the shame, but transmuted that for its good to where it was able to enhance the lives of other queer people, and not just queer people, but other people of different faiths as well, girl. A very DEI-ass choir where they're all connected to the God of love, which loves all of us. Meanwhile, you got niggas over here, girl. They got more smoke, girl, for the LGBT community, but don't have no smoke for the ingredients list, girl, when they eating they shit. Make it make sense. I'm going to let Marcus Rogers rock. I'm going to try not to pause as much, girl, because this is kind of a lengthy video, about 12 minutes. And again, this is fair use enacted. And I give every single one of these individuals, if they watch it, if you're an individual that I'm not commentating, girl, but you feel some type of way about my commentary, I give you full free permission to use my content or any of my content for your commentary. All I'm asking is that you transform it in some type of way and make sure you tag me as BubzDaGawd so that I know that it's real. Let's continue to listen to some fake shit.
Man, what's going on, everybody? I saw this. I said, I got to look into this because it just don't make sense. Make it make sense. And I wasn't surprised by what I found. You know, I seen a couple guys posting about it that, you know, the first, you know, LGBTQ group, they've got nominated for a Grammy. And you guys know how I feel about the Grammys. I just don't understand what, you know, the obsession Christians have with, you know, getting this little golden statue, you know, from the Grammys. Like, they're doing us some great, you know, favor. Like, we need their approval. You know, they sit there and they mock Christianity. They do demonic rituals on the stage. They mock our God. And then we got our people, or, you know, these artists going up there and, you know, thank you so much for the award. Right after you did a whole demonic ritual, you know, in my face, right after you mock my God, I'm going on the stage and, you know, thanking God for the award. I don't understand it. You know, the answer they always give me is like, well, we're trying to be light, you know, in the dark. And it seems to me like, nah, y'all love the world. You want the loves, you want the world's, you know, acceptance and approval. Anyways, let's make this short and sweet. All right. This group right here, when you look at the pictures, let me share my screen with y'all real quick. All right. So y'all saw the thumbnail and I'm thinking this is like the Migos or something. This ain't the Migos. This the Flamingos right here. You know what I'm saying? Because golly. But I thought about a couple different things I wanted to hit you with. You know, first of all, they are not the first gay gospel person to be nominated for a Grammy. Because we got people who be on the down low. We got the closet choir. We got Hush Harmony, right? Hitting the right notes, but keeping the wrong secrets, all right? You got the secret saints. You got a lot of people on the DL, all right? And so I'm looking at this, and they said, here's a quote from them. Now queer people get to see us. Young Black people get to see us. Christians get to see us. And that's busting down doors and breaking glass ceilings, the Harlem Gospel Travelers. I kept wanting to call them the Harlem Globe Trotters, but, you know, Migos, Flamingos. But like I said, they are not the first gay gospel person to be nominated for a Grammy, if you get what I mean. Anyways, let's I'm trying to be nice, but man, they be trying to, you know, they be trying to disrespect our God and, you know, play in his face.
No, I said I wasn't gonna pause as much, but damn it, I'm gonna do what the hell I can. No shade. No, we not mocking your God. We mocking the niggas who say they connected to God and asking them to prove it. And y'all niggas keep failing. That's what's happening. Y'all talking shit that y'all don't know about. You memorize the book like a fucking script, as opposed to putting that shit in actual application in people's lives. And then y'all feel some type of way when those people who are in the world, even though the church is comprised of individuals in the damn world, in the community, going to church under a umbrella of Christians, But then y'all wonder why these churches are able to help the world more so than the church can. Because they don't operate in fear and ignorance. They operate in light and truth. And the light is also a blinding thing too. A light can be a burning thing too. And again, if Christianity is the point, isn't the bigger picture or the greatest picture is that at least these motherfuckers talking about Jesus. At least we ain't got to minister to those people over there because they can do it. But meanwhile, and here's the funny part. That's why I know these niggas are ignorant, because Marcus, Kenneth, Marcus, I saw your name Kenneth. I ain't talking about you. I'm sorry. I just saw Kenneth and thought it was Marcus and Josiah. They did not do their due deals. When I was looking up they shit to transmute and transform for my commentary, they didn't even put the name of the damn group down there. They didn't link them down there. They ain't tag them or nothing. They ain't do their journalistic due deals. They didn't do their research. Because if they would have did their research, they would understand that they are blackballed in the gospel community. Because again, you sitting over here talking about, oh, these individuals getting Grammys and stuff, but they are not being invited to the Stellar Awards. They're definitely not being invited to that. They're not being invited to the Dove Awards. They're definitely not being invited to that. They're not being invited to the BMI Trailblazer Awards. But see, the out and proud homosexuals ain't, but the closeted ones are, which is why, again, the gays make y'all look good and sound good and appear good. And since y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about, I would wish in a perfect world that the gays would leave the church, and I would love to see what the church looks like without the fags. Let's continue. Let's go forward.
Hush Harmony. I bet when let me stop. Because they came out and they was bold with it, you know what I'm saying? I bet there was a time, they're like, man, come out and sing, show them what you could do. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't want to do that. They stay in the closet. Now they coming out, they bold with it. And I'm going to sing and I'm going to do gospel. I'm going to be bold with it. I'm going to be flamboyant with it. All right. So anyways, I looked into this. All right. And let me share my first screen with you one more time. All right. So
What's up, Extra Smoke? I'm off that.
Nominated for a
Pause this niggas. He ain't saying nothing, girl. Y'all can listen to his shit without my commentary. What's up, Extra Smoke Dragon? I'm off that Cali Blaze Tarantula. Okay, it's called Passion Fruit. It's a sativa. I love me a sativa. The THC is 46.91. I'm doing pretty well. What is the strain you own tonight, my good sir? No shade. Let's continue.
What is it? A Grammy? Yeah, a Grammy. None of these songs right here, 10,000, 5,000, 9,000, 1,000. So I'm thinking at first, like, okay, these guys must be like really popping or something, you know what I'm saying? But it's probably just one of those things, the paperwork got put in, you do all your musical stuff, right? But it doesn't seem like they're popping like that. So I'm like, man, why is this getting so much attention? Why is everybody talking about it? And, I saw a different, couple different music page posting them and stuff. And it's like, I don't think nobody's really listening to these people's music like that, but clearly they're trying to push that agenda like always. So,
and again, we realize that Brother Marcus did not do his research at all, because if he understood and did it, he would realize that the Grammy, he didn't win Best Gospel Album of the Year. Matter of fact, let's look up the category they was in real quick. Give me 1 second. Hold on, y'all. Breaking news. Reporting live. Hold on 1 second. Best Gospel Roots Grammy nominations. Corey Henry for Church. Authentic Unlimited for the Gospel Sessions Volume 2. The Gospel According to Mark for the Gospel According to Mark. The Harlem Gospel Travelers for Rhapsody, and the Nellens for Loving You. Corey Henry ultimately won that award for his album Church and No Shade. This was like an independent avenue, or independent category. That's the word, excuse me. It's an independent category. You know, some of those things when you're watching the Grammy that be happening when the commercials are going, some of those people win Grammys too. And no shade for regardless of whatever Grammy it is, the fact that you have a Grammy adds solidity to your name also in the world, because the funny part is that y'all don't want the church to act like the world, but you want to get the world in the church, so you start doing music like the world. These are same individuals, girl, who talking all this shit about all the people in the world acting like the world. Hello, wasn't the Kurt Franklins coming in bringing the world into the church? Wasn't the Clark sisters the ones bringing the world into the church with their runs and their influences outside of the church? And where's all this smoke? Even though I love the Clark sisters, where's all this smoke for the Clark sisters, girl, when they were on Beyonce's Renaissance album, the homosexual album? Not only is the Clark sisters getting their hair done by punks, getting their makeup done by punks, getting their fashions done by punks, getting background singing by punks. Now they're on a gay iconic album that's going to stand through the test of time, girl, with their features on it. For church, girl, if I'm not mistaken. But no smoke for that. But these individuals, like he said, are willing to step out of the closet. How dare y'all step out the closet? Will use and abuse your ass up, but how dare you have autonomy? Sounds like a form of slavery, doesn't it? Let's continue.
Golly, the flamingos. Fabulous, huh? Why is it like, and you see this a lot, man. Why
I want to be like you when I get big, extra smoke.
a lot of these black guys, man, in the gospel industry, they be trying to be prettier than the women. You know what I'm saying? They got their outfits on and good night.
Harlem gospel travelers, I love this. Congratulations.
That's because when you are dealing with a higher upper echelon of things that is greater or transcends a goddamn K&G suit budget, that's when the fashions and stuff starts to become more creative, because again, it's a creative space. It's about music, and it's different type of music. It's not just the music you like. It's the music of the world. It's the music of the culture, and it has its own looks. And the funny part is that there's a lot of gospel artists right now, like Tasha Cobbs and others, who are dressing in the same similar fashion as they are dressing. But because the God that loves them in their heart, it doesn't matter what the hell they're wearing. But, you know, we got L Teddy in the building. What's going on, pimping? What's going on, man? Hope all is well. Let's continue.
Congratulations on the nomination. I love that we're bringing Black queer representation to Roots, and it's just such a good vibe, and I just love to see it. I mean, what is this nomination mean for you to be breaking through, kind of breaking traditions? What I love,
it's really surreal, especially, you know, coming from church and being a preacher's kid myself. My mom's actually here, so to see my mom support us as openly queer people, it shows the world that God loves us, our families can love us, and there's a space for us all at the
much to bear. See that there is no more shame to spare. That's when you take it to the Lord and He'll make a way.
I bet you they won't sing that old gospel song, Just As I Am. It's clearly they're having some issues in that area.
Really? How are they having issues in the area, girl, when they coming up showing the way they want to show up while getting a Grammy? Fuck what you feel about the world, Miss Mamas. The world is bigger than what you believe about your God. I'm just saying, in your own perspective. No shit, everybody ain't got to believe in what you believe in to exist, to manifest, to live. Y'all be trying to gatekeep everything, but can't gatekeep your own shit. Make that make sense. And if I were to read their actual bio off their website, girl, these are individuals that will sing gospel shit, but also sing back that ass up, and also sing motherfucking I thought I told y'all motherfuckers I ain't never scared. So again, these are hood gay Christians, bitch, that can sing. And obviously sing enough, represent and stand up so much, girl, that they got a Grammy nomination. They ain't win, but they got nominated. So at least they were considered for it. I can understand y'all being mad as fuck if they actually won a Grammy, but they were nominated and Corey Henry won. No shade, respective to him, because the nigga is dope. He is musically inclined. He is like low-key a musical savant, and I mean that in the nicest way. I'm not saying he dumb or stupid or anything like that. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying the way that his mind works, it's on another frequency. So of course he's going to win. But again, their music is good too. These people did not do research. It's the fact that, oh my God, it's a bunch of homosexuals singing about Jesus and they getting a Grammy. Oh, there go my next video. There go my next viral hit. There goes my next sermon. Yes, continue to talk about that shit while the gays continue to live their best life, bitch, and manifest all the shit you want. You thought your pastor was the only one that was going to manifest heaven on earth? No. There are some people who were walking that fantasia. Sometimes you got to lose to win again, and they winning. The question is, when you going to win some souls, my pimpin'? Especially the fag ones.
We'll take care of you. Got it?
Who are you wearing?
We're wearing GB Couture.
GB Couture?
Yep, all three of them.
So what inspired the look today?
This is all queer owned and styled by us because we are the first non-binary and openly queer group to be nominated in the gospel category.
Oh, well, congratulations. And what's the name of your group?
The Harlem Gospel Travelers.
The what?
The Harlem Gospel Travelers.
Beautiful. It's kind of like the little take on the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes. The Rhapsody. Are y'all ready to have a good time? I hope y'all are. Feel this groove.
Why all them dudes look so weird? Like they aren't low key. They don't even look like they want to be there. Like the drummer, like I mean, maybe they paid me enough.
Girl, I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to pause, girl, but the ignorance is ignorance, girl. These are individual white people who got money to be able to spend on learning about other aspects of blackness. And again, there are some people who want to connect with blackness and other oppressed groups of blackness, i.e. black queer people, to understand them and humanize them. Okay? Now, you can make the interpretation about that, but these individuals had to rehearse with these individuals. And if they didn't like them, they did a very good job at showing that they did not like them and keeping that a secret, girl, and pretending that it wasn't there. Because if that was the case, they would not be performing with that individual. We know that your bald-headed ass wasn't going to play the drums, the goddamn guitar, the bass, or the keyboard. And we definitely don't want to hear you sing. Okay? In the words, again, of Tisha Campbell, her playing Diana Ross from My Wife and Kids. When you in the back of the line, you back up. When you're in the front of the line, you shut up. Shut up.
He enjoying himself, but look at the drummer and look at the next guy.
Let me ask you something.
So look. Like I said, they are not the first gay gospel people.
Oh, wow. You're so smart.
For a Grammy.
You're so smart.
They just the first ones who ain't on the down low.
Oh, my God.
And to me, they look like the Migos. I said earlier, I call them the Flamingos. All right. But honestly, on a serious note, when I was looking at it, I mean, this seems to be a problem, you know, in the black church. We talked about Michael Todd and all these guys dressing effeminate, but the Bible says what the Bible says, that the effeminate will not enter the kingdom, and they that worship must worship in spirit and truth. Now, here's the crazy thing. Here's something to think about. It's kind of easy for all of us to look at these guys and be like, yeah, that's not God. But this is really happening in the church on a different type of level as well, right? We can see this with our physical eyes, but in the spirit, there's a lot of people who are transgender. Watch me, follow me on this, right? The reason being trans is a sin in God's eyes is because when God made you, everything he created, he said it was good. So you're saying, no, it's not good. I'm going to change what I want to change, and I'm going to be what I want to be. God, you made a mistake. But there's a lot of people in the church who are spiritually transgender. God is calling you to be this. God is asking you to do this. God is telling you to do this. And you're saying, no, God, I'm not going to be what you want me to be. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm my own God. What I feel is my God. And so in the spirit,
girl, did he just sit up and try to transmute in a piss poor Lawn Street job ass way transgenderism and saying that God is asking you to be spiritually transgender, which means to leave this one life and go to leave this one identity and go to the other identity over your damn body on your arms. Let's deal with the whole effeminate thing, girl. We have to do our research and context. These words were added in new translations all the time. The word homosexuality didn't show up in the 40s or 50s, if I'm not mistaken. So all these other words are being implemented into these things. There's a lot of questions that organized religion does not want us to ask, simply because when you ask those questions, we start to see what the truth is. We start to see the strings being pulled behind the scenes. We see the inner workings of the quote-unquote great and powerful Oz, who ain't nothing but a bald-headed nigga with a lot of hot wind blowing into a damn horn. We just saw videos of these individuals be in spaces and places that God source universe consciousness had allowed for them to be able to experience without the help of the church. In reference to the support, because they had to rely on God. They couldn't rely on the church. They couldn't rely on people like you, Marcus. They couldn't rely on you. So because they couldn't rely on you, they had to create something for themselves. And they did. And it's working out in their favor. Just like God promised it for them, because they're walking in their authenticity. That's why God is able to talk to them. That's why God is able to connect with them. That's why Christ is able to exude from them. To where, again, they're being forced to perform in secular spaces and secular venues, as opposed to performing in the place where quote unquote God is not, and saying it is the real transformative work, not just armchair activism for white Jesus.
There's a lot of people who look like they look. Like, it's easy for us to look at them in the eye and be like, yeah, something's wrong. But in the spirit, guess what? It's a whole lot of people got costumes on, and they looking goofy just like that in the church. So yeah, that's it, man. I just wanted to give you some quick thoughts. I said that's crazy because they're not getting the plays. Hold
on. If you are sitting here and claiming that you are so connected to the Lord Jesus, your Lord Savior, girl, in such a powerful way that with your spiritual eyes, you like Shirley Caesar, girl. There's a strong man in this house. And with my spiritual eyes, I can see. You can see it with your spiritual eyes. Why didn't you take the time out to go into extensive thought? We already know if you're at, well, he say you're pastor, girl. What sermons are you preparing, girl? Are they 15-minute sermons, girl? Is your sermons running on Catholic church tees, girl? Where it's 5-10 minutes? Are we moving on, girl? Because I thought that you was gonna give us some of that old Southern old time religion, 2 hours worth of preaching. Give me 10 more minutes. That's 4 hours in church language. I thought you was gonna give us that, all type of stuff. But again, you're judging based off of how they look and the fact that they're openly queer. You're not having conversations with these people. You're not talking to these people. You're not trying to understand these people. You're in no way, shape, or form operating. Let me go back on the screen, nigga. You are in no way, shape, and form operating in the spirit of Christ whatsoever. You are a Paul-spirited Christian. There's a lot of Paul-spirited Christians. Shout out to Boss Man for that. There's a lot of y'all out there that are trying to follow the law of the Bible as opposed to the law of love, which transcends the Bible, which makes that word flesh, which connects to other people that the church is having a hard time connecting with, because at the end of the day, in order to connect with them in the organized religion aspect, you have to be afraid, and no shade. I'd rather respect somebody because I love them as opposed of me fearing them. If I love you and I care about you, I'm going to do the best I can to not harm you, to not hurt you. But if I fear you, I might want to hurt you because you are making me scared. And as we discovered earlier in the commentary with Robin Westman, that's what happens when that fear, that guilt, and that shame has no way to have an outlet, to talk to somebody, to have someone allow them to be organically themselves right then, right here and now, right here in the moment. Those prevention hotlines that your president is removing is going to unfortunately create more environments and situations and spaces and atmospheres like the one that happened with Robin Westman in Annunciation Catholic School. And as we see, this is not just a gay or trans thing. This is a human issue. Because again, like we stated earlier, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. But there's been over 4,000 white cis men who have done more school outings. And you have Christians over here worried about somebody dressing up, looking like an inflatable goddamn a couch or something, girl, with their styles. They are finding their own people away from y'all, away from y'all children, away from your churches, away from your spaces. They are away from y'all. They are doing what you have asked them to do. But see, that's why I want queer people to understand that when they bring up scriptures like Leviticus and stuff like that, they fail to mention the whole aspect about how the individuals who are LGBT, who are queer, girl, that they are supposed to be unalived and all of their blood is supposed to be on their head. There is a death sentence that they believe spiritually that needs to happen with queer people. And when y'all continue to check into my whole project, which is again, Blame It on the Dress, dropping Friday on Conscious TV platform. Make sure y'all there, okay? I'm going to show y'all, give y'all a dark interpretation, my viewpoint of where the hell we think we're, not what we think, what I believe we're going and what the signs are showing and the facts are showing where we're going. And there are people like Marcus Rogers and Josiah and them and other red pill spaces that are preaching fear as far as get your ass in the house, don't be outside because judgment is coming, not realizing that judgment is coming like ice for all of us, to snatch us all out the motherfucking door, to snatch us all out the motherfucking windows, and snatch us all out the damn car. But anyway, let's continue. You were saying, Marcus?
Their songs, like all of their songs, 4,000, 1,000. I think they have one song at 10,000. I'm like, why are they at the Grammys getting nominated? But it's just one of those things. It's the agenda. But they're not the only ones. You got the Closet Choir. You got the Secret Saints. And then what did we say earlier? Hush harmony, right? Hitting the right notes, keeping the wrong secrets. That stuff is all in, unfortunately, the black church and the gospel industry. So, pray for them, and just be careful. The Bible says they that worship must worship in spirit and in truth. Everybody can praise God. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord, but not everybody can worship him. Worshiping him is a little different intimacy. Oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. I almost forgot. Now notice their songs, obviously they have good voices, right? And they got their musicians or whatever, but obviously they're not living the lifestyle. And that's one of the issues that I'm always telling you guys about. People can learn how to do church. They can learn how to sound like church. They can learn how to, sound anointed, right? And it's like, it's a whole act. Like really on Sunday mornings, like this is obvious, right? But on Sunday mornings, there are many churches putting on a full production. Like it's a full blown production with actors, costumes, everything. So I wanted to be clear, like we look at these guys and it's like, yeah, that's bad. Something's wrong with that. But if you ask God to open your eyes in the spirit, you'll start looking at a lot of these pastors and churches and you'll realize, yo, this is a whole production. It's fake, something to think about. Love you guys. Be blessed. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Cause there are the group of Christians like, just leave them alone. They got to start somewhere. Hey, that's not what the Bible says. So give me some feedback in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. I think it's a mockery of God. I think they're doing it intentionally. Maybe there's church hurt or whatever it is, what I'm saying? Because that deep down, they know something ain't right.
Girl, what? Girl, what? I'm so glad he is not my pastor, girl, because at this damn point, girl, shit, he make it seem like you got a better chance with Satan, girl, than with him, girl. That's the crazy part. Like, what? Well, maybe there's church hurt there. No, they transmuted that church hurt and created a safe space to say that I'm going to be me. I don't give a damn what the church say. God said I can be this. God said I can do this. And whether you agree with it or not, watch God work in my favor. Maybe if you put more of that energy into your own damn life, then maybe God will do it for you after 10, 15, 20 years. Because you don't know my story. All the things that I've been through. You don't feel my pain. What I had. Girl, y'all don't know what they've been through. Nor did you do your own research. You just looked at them and generalized. Y'all ain't do no research. And y'all claim to be Christians and you wonder why people walking away from the faith because of y'all as the representatives, baby. Y'all failing miserably. Which is why you have to use Old Faithful, which is fear. Marcus Rogers and everybody else supposed to be bringing this transformative ass way of breaking things down. They're supposed to be taking time, effort, and energy just like I am. I wanted this live to be done sometime like around 3 or 4 so I can go live. But the way that I did my research, the way that I orchestrated my thoughts, the way that I was manifesting all this in my head as I was getting this together, girl, that was actually being led by the Spirit, which is why when BubzDaGawd does shit, it's not perfect, but it's going to have a level of excellence, which means there's always more room for improvement. And speaking of that excellence, let me go ahead and give my lasting thoughts before we close this segment out and end this live. No shade. Dalen says, I don't know why I want to call you Dylan. Dylan. Says, will you have a link available? I want to make sure I check it Friday. No shade, he hasn't created the link yet. That's going to be within the next day or so. I'm going to check in with him and see what's going on with that. And then once he does, I will immediately share that link on my post, my community post on my page. So if you are subscribed, shout out to you. Just make sure you hit that notification bell. If not, subscribe. That way you'll be able to know at your earliest convenience when that link will be available. Okay, so I will definitely have that for you. Extra Smoke says, how are these people so scared of what they call gay and less than themselves? You're going to have to ask them. Because, baby, they using white Jesus as a shield. But let me go ahead and give y'all my lasting thoughts real quick. Let me shift the atmosphere real quick, take a sip of water, and then we're going to get into it. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. All right. Y'all gonna hear some clicking because, again, I'm going through my organized thoughts. Now that I've taken the time to share with you a brief Cliff Note version, and again, do your own research, of the Harlem Gospel Travelers and Lavender Light. Shout out to both Isaiah and Marcus, a broken clock being twice a day, girl, working in that favor to be able to include more clips of them. And we've heard their voices and their mission statement and what they're actually doing as far as the manifestation of God's promises in their lives. Let's get real about what that all means. Because the facts are undeniable, y'all. Look, and let's just be honest, whether y'all want to or not. And if it was in the perfect world, baby, I would love for this to happen just so we can see what the real tea is. Queer people have always been in gospel, carrying the choirs, carrying on their backs, writing the songs that y'all sing or repeat and y'all love replaying on the radio stations and playing whatever your child on some bullshit. Slinging oil around the house. Building the soundtrack of our churches and our spiritual lives. And now that those individuals who have done all that work, bitch, solidified the work, now that they're finally visible, finally unapologetic, finally putting God's name on their own truth and allowing the world to see who are the ones working behind the scenes to make y'all look better than what y'all really are. No shade. To shout out to the enhancements that help to further radiate and amplify your message and what you believe. But whenever they do that shit, you got niggas who give backlash, girl. Niggas like Marcus Rogers, girl, mocking them as the Flamingos and the Migos of gospel. Yet they're closer to a Grammy and more people know who the hell they are than they know some of your faves. No shade. Coach Josiah calling Lavender Light the devil's choir because how dare queer people put Jesus' name on their lips after we know what they do with their lips. And for some of you down low deacons and shit, fuck the choir niggas and the silent sisters of the pews, bitch. Some of you DL deacons, girl, know what them lips do too in the midnight hour. So let's continue to break this down. Because this isn't about gospel. It's never been about gospel. This is about fear, control, and the terror of watching the doors of God's house swing open wider than you can stand. Girl. Y'all letting too many people in. The gospel that says, I want to receive all of y'all, girl. Now it's a restriction. Now the fire department got to come out and get motherfuckers out the building, girl, because it's a fire hazard. And regardless of what you believe, what you want to believe, Marcus, Rogers, and Josiah, and the rest of you individuals in the comment section, girl, who think like them, because I'm going to read. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right now. As far as the comment sections under Marcus Rogers' video. Give me 1 second. Just so I had this right here so I can pull it on up. Give me 1 second. And again, y'all can read for y'all damn selves by looking at the link down below. Because again, I do my journalistic due deals. I share the information. Okay. The Harlem Gospel Travelers, regardless of what you believe, want to believe, nigga, are making history. They're the first openly queer gospel group, non-binary as well, gospel group nominated for a Grammy. One thing you said God ain't gonna be able to allow, and yet God allowed it. Blending roots gospel with modern soul. They have visibility, they have representation, and obviously they have joy. They're actually walking out the actual original term or one of the other definitions of gay, which is to be jovial. The Lavender Light Gospel Choir, if they would have done their research, has been around since 1985. The first openly gay gospel choir, born in New York after, again, 2 black gay men were pushed out of their churches. They didn't go and get hooked on drugs like you hoped they would so it would amplify your piss poor ass fear-based message. They didn't go and contract STDs and STIs like you said they would just because they're gay and that's what your God said and that's what they deserve, just because they didn't go sit there and lay down and take their own lives in exile. No, they simply dealt with that shit, internalized that shit, and let that shit out through crying, through going through a dark night of the soul, and being able to choose love and happiness and joy in the midst of it all. No Yolanda Adams. The fuck? And now they are standing as light bearers to let other people know that even though you're gonna go through what you're going through, bitch, it ain't gotta end like how you want them, like how they want you to let it end, bitch. You can have a different outcome. And that's only if you believe. Didn't your Lord and Savior say by the size of a mustard seed? You thought it was just for you or the Christians? It was for whoever believed in not the person, not the man, but the thoughts and the emotion, which is the love in the man that loves us unconditionally. They've sung at Madison Square Garden, at City Hall, at the UN. They are legacy, not a trend as much as you want them to be flamingos and mingos. They're making history. And the backlash, of course, Marcus Rogers mocking them as the flamingos and the Migos of gospel. Coach Josiah saying Lavender Light could be, a jazz or, a classical choir, but not gospel, because gospel belongs to his definition of Jesus. This isn't about protecting faith. It's about controlling who's allowed to worship. Marcus said it out of his own mouth. Isaiah said it out of his own mouth. And if you look and do your research, history has shown us every time gatekeepers try to shut the door on God's children, God comes down and kicks it open anyway. Take that up with God. Get in your prayer clause and ask him to help you. Now let's start with Marcus. He looked at the Harlem Gospel Travelers, 3 young black queer artists, 1 non-binary, and called them the Flamingos and the Migos. As much as you think you clocking, you over here sounding like an open mic night at amateur night at the Apollo Girl. Womp womp, dun 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 dun, womp womp. Where's the Sandman, please? You admit there's a whole closet choir. You admit that there's a whole closet choir, a hush harmony of saints hiding their truth while still singing God's praises. You admit it. Shout out to the broken clock right twice a day. But the problem for you is not the queerness. The problem that you, Isaiah, and others, as we're going to read the comment sections afterwards, y'all problems with the whole situation is that how dare these people be honest? How dare they defy following a script and pretending? How dare they self-actualize? How dare they find self-governance and sentience? How dare they? You don't hate queerness. It might be a symptom of queer phobia. You hate the courage to stop lying about it. Because honesty, as much as it's the face of your system, literally ruins your whole system. If people admit they've been queer and holy this whole time, if everybody just admits that shit, what happens to your power? What happens to your authority? You can't scare folks back into the closet if they decide to burn that bitch down themselves. And when they do, you want to call it mockery. You want to call it wicked. But the only joke here is a grown-ass man preaching holiness while dragging queer people like it's Def Comedy Jam led by the Trump administration. Your sermon has more shade than scripture, and baby, you ain't never gonna win a shade fest with a homosexual. Ain't gonna never happen. And then we got Coach Josiah. Again, shout out to him. He saw the Lavender Light Choir and lost his breath. No Beyonce and Destiny's Child. Ooh. None of that. He said, look, if they were a jazz choir and they want to do that gay dick in the booty shit, I don't give a damn. If they want to do classical shit, we do dick in the booty shit, or the classical shit with Mozart and shit, that's fine. But gospel, oh, that's off limits, because gospel means Jesus. I say, you may not want my help, but I'm gonna give it to you any damn way, because you shared your thoughts, so I'm gonna share my thoughts on your thoughts, nigga. Welcome to the internet. You don't own Jesus. I hope y'all really understand that. If that burns you in your chest, or some of you big niggas, your chest, baby, you are the problem. You are the problem. You don't own Jesus. You don't trademark the gospel. Queer people, as we've factually been seeing, girl, historically been seeing, girl, presently been seeing, girl, has been carrying the gospel since the first choir director whipped their wrist to get sopranos on pitch. You thought it was just Maddie Moss Clark? Shout out to her. May she rest in power. But she wasn't the only one that was giving sass. Half the churches you preach in or go to are built on queer labor, queer talent, and queer genius. And I know that to be the case because, subjectively speaking, when I was in church, girl, they used the fuck out of my damn gifts and talents. Whenever there was a play, they would never ask me, oh, Bubs, can you do this? Or Buzz, what's your schedule? They just told me, oh, I need you in this play. You're going to be in this play. But because it was dealing with Jesus and God, I had to sacrifice other things in order to do this play. And then when I do this play with these motherfuckers are lazy. These motherfuckers are late. These motherfuckers are unorganized. I'll give you an example. When I was doing play productions at my church was connected to another mega church here in Detroit. And there was an individual who was a coordinator there of the arts who saw my performance and offered me an audition to take part in this play, where I thought I was going to get paid but did not. They had been rehearsing that play for almost a year and a half. You would think that after a year and a half worth of rehearsals that this machine would be moving smoothly. What I'm about to say might sound a little racist, girl, if you want to look in that perspective, girl, or a stereotypical girl, but I just got to be honest. But unfortunately, we got a bunch of niggas running a production, and not niggas who know what the fuck they're doing, who don't understand and commit to the sacrifice to making this shit work. It ends up falling apart. So I came in less than 2 weeks to opening night, girl, and I was supposed to have one small part. How about the time that opening night happened, bitch? I had 3 parts that I had to learn in the span of less than a week. Good thing that I know how to do improv and I'm quick on my damn feet. That's what happens when you overthink. That's what happens when you have an analytical mind. I went from having a small role where I'm supposed to sing a song and I'm supposed to leave. Now I'm doing that role. Then I'm motherfucking playing a drug dealer role. Then I'm playing the supporting character, girl. And the supporting character got upgraded to main character because the main character decided that he didn't want to show up on opening night. See how the gays save shit? See how the hags, girl, end up doing the work that some of you lazy heterosexual niggas are afraid to do or don't do? Never again, bitch. And at this point, girl, you want me to be in a faith production, girl, you're going to have to pay me for my time, girl. Because I already know, unfortunately, that I'm going to have to go from being a goddamn actor to being a damn leader in this bitch. And as an individual who deals with that all the time, sometimes I get irritated and tired. I would love for people to take a leadership position so I can sit the fuck down and relax and enjoy my damn self, as opposed to fixing people's shit and then being told that I can't be my damn self, bitch, but I'm the one that made you look good. You better sit your Cadillac got me a Cadillac white version ass down for you get slapped. You say queer gospel is serving the devil. Baby, gospel without queerness is like a choir without sopranos, baby. Flat, empty, and doomed to crack, or let me use some of you niggas thing, girl. Gospel without queerness is like having peanut butter, no jelly. It's like having chicken with no sides. It's like having one plate without going back for seconds. That's exactly what it is. See, what you're really mad at is not queerness. Again, that's the symptom. The root issue is that it's that queer folks have the audacity to put God's name on what you thought you owned. But God was never yours to police. No, God was never yours to gatekeep. And if anybody's pimping God's name, if anybody is being a mockery of God, if anybody is playing in God's face and God's people's, God's children's faces, it's the pastors selling him every Sunday for tithes, while the choir, full of faggots, full of dykes, full of trannies, girl, spiritual ones, according to Marcus Rogers. I didn't even know there was spiritual transgenderism, but shout out to Marcus. Girl, full of those voices that carry the service on their backs. And here's the haunting truth, right? What's wicked is not queer people singing gospel. What's wicked is standing in pulpits, weaponizing scripture, and telling God's children their voices don't belong in his house. Excuse me, come again, say what? Come again, you said, excuse me? You preach about a God of love, but you enforce a gospel of fear. You call it compromise, but really it's survival. You call it wickedness, but really it's worship. You call it pride, but what it really is just simply breathing. See, every time niggas like you and people that think like you demonize the vulnerable, you plant seeds of hate in children, as we talked about in segment 1, who grow up thinking God's image is conditional. See, you name the devil, right? But y'all can never see when he's preaching from your own pulpit, nor do you know how to get rid of his ass. Because let's tell the truth, queer people don't make the gospel less holy. They expose the church's hypocrisy for calling it holy while living in lies. Again, the secret closet ministry, the ushers of the darkness, the God's children of the night, girl. So I say in closing, history will remember who expanded the gospel. Shout out to the Harlem Gospel Travelers and Lavender Light Gospel Choir, and those who try to strangle it. Shout out to Josiah, Marcus Rogers, and those that think like him. And it won't be kind to those who thought they could gatekeep God. Because every scripture you used as a weapon will one day bind your legacy in shame. And we see what happens when shame takes root and actually fully gets to fester. You're not exempt, pimpin'. And every note sung by queer voices will stand as your indictment. So y'all can continue to go ahead. Keep ranting about the flamingos and the dick mingos, bitch, and the lavender lights and the lavender dykes, girl. Keep yelling about devils and agendas. If that makes you feel holy, again, you have the right to freedom of speech. You can believe and say whatever the hell you want to say. Just know that when you do it on Beyonce's good internet, baby, people are open to respond to it. Just like people are open to respond to mine, and I hope they do. That would be nice, to be able to have some sort of, engagement as far as the different perspectives and see if we can find the gray area, because that's what I'm all about. But here's the reality. Long after your piss po ass YouTube sermons fade into dust, queer voices will still be singing gospel. And every note will sting, because every note will remind you. Again, shout out to HGT, Lavender Light, individuals like B. Slade, who also knows how to tap into the gospel aspect, came from it. My bro, that's Russell, who is a queer gospel artist. Every time y'all sing, y'all remind these fear-based ass niggas that God never belonged to just them. God belonged to everything and everyone that wanted it. And maybe y'all need to take a goddamn look at the Bible, the totality of it, and figure the shit out for your damn self so that we can change all these experiences, or like what you're seeing on the right will continue to happen. Because the schools that's getting shot up are the ones that are protected from drag queens and dirty books, but not bullets. Y'all gonna have to do some real work in this mug. But yeah, I want to thank y'all so much for joining me for this live. I'm going to just go ahead and read some comments from Marcus Rogers' comment section for a little bit. A few of them, and then we're going to go ahead and end the live because we are 2 hours. So it's kind of longer than what I wanted. No shade, but let me go ahead and take a look. So one commenter says, God will not be mocked. Someone else said, I am praying for their deliverance and everybody that is held in bondage by that homosexuality spirit. I am forever grateful that God delivered me from spirit, and I am healing from the trauma that had me in captivity. Someone else said, the devil is a liar. Someone else says, Father, set them free in Jesus' name. Someone else laughed at his analogies, girl, closet choir, secret saints, and hush harmony. Someone else says they need prayer and deliverance. Someone else says, be ye holy, for I am holy, says God. He will not be defeated, nor does he change. He is the same holy God. He makes no mistakes. Someone else says, all I can say is, Lord have mercy. Someone else says, you no longer have to be able to sing to be nominated for a Grammy. It's just an agenda they are trying to push. Someone else says, this grieves my spirit for these young men. Jesus help. Someone else says, no shame or fear of God with some people nowadays, scratching my head. Someone else says they think Jesus will be mocked, but they're going to learn the hard way. Someone else said, I got tickled when you said they won't sing just as I am. Someone else says, you're the only Christian YouTuber I watch anymore. People hate on you because what you say is true and bold, while criticizing the other people who are living true and bold without that word. Someone else said, this grieved my spirit big time. Someone else says, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, nor fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, effeminate, abusers of themselves with mankind. 1 Corinthians 6:9, King James Version, that is all. Someone else says, they have formed the God of their own, making a false Christ an idol. God will not be mocked. Whatsoever ye sow, that ye shall also reap. God will not be mocked, girl. You can go on and on and on and on and on with these comments. But that is the reality that we living in, y'all. And I want to come through with a segment for Homo News because I guess I'm going to be going live until Friday because OBS is acting up. So Yes, I just wanted to come through and give y'all a live for this week. I'm grateful that I was able to do so. I think I used up all my free hours for StreamYard. These hoes want $80 a month. Hell no, I don't even fuck with y'all like that. I'm fucking with y'all because my OBS is messing up. So when there's a will, there's definitely a way. I'll find some way to work this shit out. But again, I want to thank y'all so much for joining me for this live. If you can, please make sure you hit that like button because it helps the channel to grow in the algorithms. We are at, I think, 864 subscribers. I mean, 964, excuse me, subscribers on the road to 1K. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. If you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd and how we think, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my content. Okay, and also stay up to date with the information and link for the release of chapter 1 of Blame It on the Dress, dropping this Friday on the one and only Conscious TV's platform. Again, make sure y'all stay on the lookout for that. If there's anything I said in this live that you resonate with, you like, or you dislike, or want to critique, or hell, if you want to read the fuck out of me, shade me in the name of Jesus, I'll give you permission to do so. All I ask is that you transform my content in some sort of creative nature. Try to make me laugh. If you're going to read me, girl, make me laugh, girl, so I won't give you that much heat back in response. No shade, depending on what you're saying, if it's really stupid. But, yeah, just make sure you tag me at BubzDaGawd so I know that it's real. And if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit me up in the Cash App, $BubzDaGawd. We take everything that jingles and folds, baby. The type of content that I'm giving y'all, no shade, I'm realizing my worth, baby. Some of that shit costs. No shade. In order to keep things running and to evolve and grow, I can't do it on my own. I'm going to need y'all help because it's not just me building this. Y'all are building this with me. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit me up in the Cash App, $BubzDaGawd. Shout out to Extra Smoke Dragon for being in the building. Shout out to Dalen being in the building. Looking forward to seeing you again soon and hopefully seeing you on Friday. Shout out to Kenneth Tooks in the building. Shout out to Barlos, girl, Bahala, or whoever it is. I don't know if it was a real person or a bot, but shout out to you. Shout out to Queen Spicy in the building for coming through. I think that's everybody. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to those that were in the bushes. I should have pulled this up. I don't even have this part up first. Hold on. Let me pull up my damn ending, girl, so we can get the hell up out of here. Where's my outro? Where's my outro? There we go. That's the intro. Okay, there's the outro. Boom. Shout out to Queen Spicy. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to those who were in the bushes. Shout out to whoever's watching this. I appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, peace.
Can be anything I choose in this round. We are a sound vibration too deep to tell.